Yeah.
What is it with the axe picture? Because I see it every time you do something, the disciples put it up.
It's just the
It's
meme.
just because, we were out camping, me and all the disciples, and
And a hatchet.
I was very, very good with an axe. Most of them went to go get food, so it was me, Betty, and Connor left, and we had to keep the fire going. And so I just chopped a shitload of wood, and neither of them were very good at it.
The way you said like
Unleash your inner Welsh.
The way you said like good with an axe, it sounded like you defended it from some sort of like horde of skeletons or something.
I mean, it felt like that when we were walking through the woods.
What the fuck? Where did you go camping?
It was near Epping, but it was like down. I don't know. Down
City centre, yeah.
Yeah.
Nottingham City Centre. Yeah, in Nottingham City Centre, you've got to defend yourself probably quite a lot with an axe, I'd say.
Yes, I would feel more in danger and in the city centre with an axe than I would in the woods.
What's the quote from that guy? The weeb with the sword. He's like, I feel more dangerous without the sword than with it.
Oh.
He died.
He drowned, didn't he?
He did drown.
Oh no!
It's a very amusing thing. He fell off a boat with an underage girl, and then he just drowned because he couldn't swim.
I can't.
Very
remember.
amusing.
I don't know whether it was a joke or all I have a memory of that story was the fact that as he sank to the bottom, his katana was held aloft, just out the water.
He's like, no,
like the Lady of the Lake.
No, that's the other way around, bro.
Oh yes, that's coming up. Hello and welcome back to Slam Chat. My name is Andrew, and today we are joined by two very special guests and one Joe. Today we have Tristan Pugh. Anyone who's been following the online YuGiOh circuit will know this name. His most recent tops have been second at the YOS 5, first in the YOS solo event, top 16 at the LCS 8, and quite a few more actually. And we also have Niall McNulty, a bastion of the in-person events. His recent tops have been top 4 YCS Milan 2019 and the 2019 Mega Regionals. Is that right? And then also
Euros.
And Mega Euros. Sorry. And then the top 32 at the 2019 Nats.
Yeah, I'm a 2019 boy.
Yeah, you really are. How are we doing? I suppose I best got to first ask about how was YS 5 and good job. Congrats.
Thanks.
That was last
It was
weekend, right?
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, played against nice people.
How many players were there in the end?
It was literally like 32.
I thought that because I got a message from Joe and he was like asking me because I really wanted to push myself to try and play an online event, but I just can't bring myself to do it.
This is kind of the dynamic here because obviously Tristan, you've had a huge run of like really good tops at sort of online events. But am I right in believing you haven't got many in-person events?
Yeah, so I topped 2017 Nats, 2017 Euros, and 2019 Nats. But I've never topped. I don't think I've even topped a regional, and I've never topped a YCS.
Okay, well, you've had your 2019 was a good year for your grapes, really, wasn't it? It was like the first year I wasn't playing janky gimmicky decks, I think. All right, what were you playing beforehand then?
Oh God, what was it? Because me and Tristan go way back. It was like I think end of 2017 or 2018.
Something like that, yeah. So
I was literally the wild card for the longest time.
The first time I played you were playing Light Swan Plants.
Yeah, baby.
Wow.
There was also a time, the first time I met Niall, he was playing Counter Fairies.
You are
that was
a horrible person.
All right, just hear me out, right? Imagine being a casual and you just come back, all right? And there's a structure deck, and then you play that structure deck for a bit. I think I played Counter Fairies for one of the Brotherhood Opens. That's how bad I was. But basically, like, I think I became a chef, and then I like picked up the game in February of 2019, and I was just playing salads, and like salads was, especially for the preparation. I think I got second at a Leicester regional with salads, and that was like the catalyst for me, like me, Tristan, and a friend of ours, Razwan, of like fully preparing for nationals.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very much like the catalyst for me becoming much better of a player.
You started actually listening to me.
What? I'll have
Did
you
you meet
know,
at,
I started
locals?
listening to myself. Sorry?
Did you two meet at locals?
Yeah, it was, what's it called?
Game night, Derby local.
Game night, yeah, that place.
Sounds pretty game to me.
Expensive burgers, if I recall.
Yeah.
It's like £12 for a microwave burger. Anyway, that place doesn't exist anymore. But
Competitive team. If we get like sponsors and people recognise us as the sperm team, it's probably not a good look for it.
yeah,
Well, it
And,
depends what you get
they-
sponsored by. A fertility clinic would be
Sperm
fantastic.
bank, yeah.
So yeah, Tristan, I was going to ask you what the difference between sort of prepping between a sort of a real event versus an online event. So obviously, I mentioned that it's a bit different.
Yeah, so the main difference is obviously for online, you're just in the comfort of your own home. Just like I sit in my bed in my pajamas playing an LCS. So I don't have to worry about food, I don't have to worry about accommodation. Whereas for a real life event, you have to worry about all that. So that's part of your stress gone for online. But like the main part of online is that you can use YuGiOh, and this has become sort of a meme in the online community. That you can just go YuGiOh, you can type in someone's username, and you can see the last 20 games that they've played in ranked. So the main strategy for this is to check a replay, and you look at their choice for rock paper scissors. You make a note of it if it becomes consistent throughout their replays, and then for like a major tournament, you just counterpick them so that you're more likely to go first.
I will ask. It's like, how often is there actually like patterns and discrepancies in like how they choose them?
I think a lot of people don't realize that, especially in ranked, when you're just sort of like you're just trying to play as many
grinding. If
games
you're
as
literally
possible.
grinding, you're just gonna press the same one every time, right? It's more
exactly.
efficient.
So like you'll even notice patterns for like it might just be like confirmation bias, but like when you're playing ranked and then you're choosing scissors all the time, and then you realize that like for some reason everybody on a Monday is choosing rock, so you start choosing paper every time and you start winning a lot. But that's like kind of random. But like I think most people, especially when the major online events first started, didn't realize that they had a pattern for their rock paper scissors because they didn't think that people would follow that.
I bet people didn't even realize that people could access their data in terms of their games.
Yeah, a lot of people just had no idea. But now it's become a lot more known, so it's a lot more random whether you can detect patterns, because YuGiOh just isn't reliable for that sort of information anymore, because you would just counter pick what would be your counter.
I mean, I remember the preparation for Euros and stuff being very similar, where you would know certain people in certain teams around Europe, and you would like check out what they were testing and stuff. So it was like, I think it was for Euros, or it may have been one of the YCSs. We literally knew that like the German team gym were on like Sanctum main and Pure Orcus and stuff.
That reminds me, I think the London YCS, because I remember you saying you had certain hand traps, or you mainly Lancia or something to get around. I can't remember. A lot of people were maining Lancia because they knew that the top cut were really going to run a lot of Orcus and obviously Lunite and stuff like that.
Yes, that's also very important, is finding out like online trends. Like it's very rare that someone will put in a lot of games with a deck that they won't play.
Yeah,
because I actually saying that you don't have to find accommodation, you don't have all that stress. That sort of reminds me of Niall, the story about YCS Milan and like how just destroyed you.
I don't know what you mean.
I asked some friends like, have you got any questions for the Putzer guys? And apart from have you read Misk, there wasn't really serious questions.
Fantastic.
I said I was gonna ask you to recount your story of YCS Milan and sort of let's
Put
say
it to bed.
Okay, is this where we kill Milan?
This is
where you clear your name.
But I think the story behind it is actually quite
it's tragic.
Sorry, it is tragic.
It is. I mean, like I literally died for this. For I think me and Joe were talking about it because me and Joe lived together. We were literally talking about it earlier. Yeah. Or I think it was yesterday.
Well, yeah, go on.
I think I'm the reason Cardinal Myers got like hit.
Oh yeah.
I think Joe called me like the Jesus of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
I was, they'll bring out a lot demise, and it'll be me on the cross on the Cardinal Myers.
I bet Aiden loves you.
Oh yeah.
We brought it up to him, and he was like, "Bitch."
Yeah, just don't talk about it. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, please recount.
So. I can't remember how many rounds it was that I actually played within 2 days. I think it was like 17 to 19.
Christ.
But basically,
the finals.
Yeah, I mean the second day, basically what happened at the end of day one, I hadn't actually had anything to eat for dinner. And the way I usually prepare for, like a big way that I try to get an edge over the players during really long tournaments is being well stocked with like, something fatty, something salty, something, really to like, you'll
This is one
always
of the
see me in
best
between
things about-
rounds, Pardon?
This is one of the best things about going to an event with you. I remember one in particular where
It's Nats, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it might have been. It was definitely an abroad event because we went to the shop and you just made like a ton of bolognese.
Oh, yeah, that was
Like,
Euros.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we just had like tubfuls of spaghetti bolognese. So if we went to an event, we had food.
No, it's literally like running a marathon. Like you hear people like will have bottles of water on the side that they just throw and then they just drinking. It's like you never really stop playing. It can get quite intense. So basically, what you do is like you play as fast as possible, or you play at a good speed. You don't really want to be like, like not having enough time. And instead of like trying to queue up for food or eat when you're hungry, you like try to, really spread it out and like make sure that you're not getting drained or dehydrated. Because like one of the worst feelings, which is what actually happened to me at day 2 of Milan, was like I really started to get dehydrated and I felt like my body was drained. I was probably low on salts and stuff. But basically, what happened after day 2? It was really late. I think we tried to go to a restaurant. But they were all closed. Takeaways were all closed. I think the only kitchen that was like with our sort of team, we had like offered to the only guy that brought his girlfriend, and they literally fucking went to sleep right after I'd had my shower, and all I had was this big fuck off Italian sausage, and I couldn't eat it raw because it needed to be cooked.
Sorry.
And I was literally it was so shit, man. I was supposed to be having like spaghetti with like the sausage and tomato, and I'm not eating any of those ingredients raw, I'm sorry.
No.
And so basically what happened is like, so I've not really had much sleep, I haven't eaten, I go to the event, I think, yeah, the last 2 rounds of day 2 were like the hardest I've ever played, because I think I was playing against Marcus Patel like in a friendly, and he took my Galatea with him by accident.
Fuck.
So it was like the start of like round 10, and just before I offer my opponent's deck, I have a good habit of like always checking if I have all my cards, and I literally have to like run around trying to find Marcus because I literally figure out, oh my god, he's got my fucking Galatea. But then that game doesn't matter anyway because I brick twice, and I had to win 2 in a row to actually top. But that ends up happening. But then it's like, oh shit, I've just realized I have like no food or water or anything on me, and I've got to play top 32. I'm fucking ecstatic. So I think for the first couple of rounds of top 32, I'm literally like riding off the hype. Like I think you see in my feature matches, like I was literally just I was running on fumes, but it was pure like adrenaline. It was just like it was fucking mad, right? But the problem is it's so like everybody's watching, but like you get dragged around so much, and like because what happens in top 32, you get like escorted to your games and stuff, and it's like nobody's like able to like get me resources so that I may try to regenerate myself. And then it's like, I think to be honest, in all of my matches, I make really sloppy misplays because it's literally like,
yes,
I'm fucking fatigued now.
The infamous normal summon Ash, I think is.
Oh, I mean, it's not even that. Like, look at my the Thunder Dragon matchup in top 8. I was like making really bad mistakes, but to be fair, so was my opponent.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just mad. But like, that's one of my favorite parts about like IRL events. It's being like able to give yourself an edge like that, just about being able to micromanage things like your food intake and making sure your body is running optimally.
Do you think you thrive on that type of preparation compared to how you do in online events, the few that you've played? Like,
oh, you mean like a locals? Yeah, like,
well, even then, but like it goes up to the big scale, right? You would think that when you're at home and you have your kitchen and whatever, and the comfort of your own home, you would play better, like Tristan said. But it seems like your brain turns
right?
to
I actually
hate.
I hate the way I have to play on DB Grinder, right? It's like before they gave the quality of life updates like they had for Pot of Desires, you'd have to manually banish 10 for cost, and then they ash it, and it's just like right, I've just spent like 2 minutes doing something that's incredibly painful, and I just got no reward from it whatsoever. It's super painful, and it's like not the real reason why I want to play the game. Like,
Yeah.
obviously there's a massive community element, which is so awesome when you go to events together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like having a team takes a lot of the energy out of like having to book your own accommodation and stuff as well.
Yeah, I imagine if you got a manager, I presume that does all that sort of admin and booking wise.
Yeah, I think like one of our teammates, I think it's like Zeki, will usually like book it all, and then we just give money and that's it.
Just comparing that sort of setup to ours, Joe, when we went to Euros, and just sort of the midnight KFC feast.
Yeah, we didn't.
Well, I think
we
usually
didn't have anything planned for food the first night we landed,
That's
so
so
it was just
bad, lads. Like,
Yeah,
just
but
go to a
like-
supermarket and buy food.
I was
it
literally
was closed.
Yeah, they
This
were.
is the thing, right? With most Yu-Gi-Oh players, they're not going to be like drinking enough water. They're going to be drinking soft drinks like Mountain Dew and eating Doritos. It's like you have such an advantage if you just eat some fucking broccoli.
I do
Like-
regret the night before day one of Euros having a couple too many rums and a couple too
This is
many
what I mean, it's like-
goes on the party boat.
I generally met someone
If you
want
want to do well, literally just like min-max the fuck out of what you're eating because it's going to do you so much better, especially the longer the day goes.
I think like the biggest life hack I've got for like going to competitive events abroad is getting an extra day before the event.
Oh my
yeah,
god,
I
these-
appreciated that when we went to Utrecht. We didn't do it, but I was like, fuck, I could have used the day to relax. Like,
I do not. I think we've always done it actually for like every YCS and stuff we went to.
Yeah,
I think
Maybe
I-
especially in 2019. I don't know about before.
There was one particular event, I can't remember which one it was, but I just remember like getting there. Like, so there was day one is Saturday, Friday is Reg, and I got there on Thursday. So I had like most of the day Thursday to like get my bearings, figure out where the shops were, figure out where like where the venue is, where I need to go from the venue to the hotel or from the venue to a shop. And then I've done that on Thursday, so then by Friday I can actually prepare. I can reg early, I can meet all my friends, I can like be at the venue, and then I can get home really early if I need to. And then like it's such a major difference compared to like arriving on Friday. The first thing you need to do is make sure you reg, because like now with events, like if you don't pre-reg, you might not even get to play.
I mean, look at London. Like
yeah,
a majority of Tier 0 didn't get in.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
crazy.
Just
see, my comparison is the complete opposite of this. On the way up to YCS London last year, I made my deck. I had brought all my cards with me, and I made my deck on the little food tray on the back of the coach on the way up.
Oh, that's so funny.
I mean, that's how 2019 started for us in terms of YCS. Is like me and Tristan like literally getting a 7 or 8 hour coach and it just being the worst shit ever.
To be fair, I didn't mind the coach just because it was considerably cheaper, and I didn't.
Oh
have to worry
yeah,
about,
for
like,
sure. Like it was so funny as well because like another Yu-Gi-Oh player wanted my seat, so he gave me €10, and then later on he gave me like a Spellground mat I don't even fucking know for €10. So it's just like I changed my seat with him, which to be fair he had a really shitty seat, and I got like a mat out of it because he basically just like yeeted all of his stuff to like piss off because he got tilted.
I remember the Utrecht. There was talking about prep. I know someone from my locals or nearby who just for the previous night just smoked all night and just and then the day after just dropped out immediately. It's just like why would you go all that way to a premier event to just literally smoke it away? Oh,
It's
it's so
Amsterdam,
dumb.
bro. When in Rome.
I think to be fair, like
I mean,
some
when in
people have got,
Amsterdam.
like, some people have got like different reasons for going to events. Like obviously, like me and Niall want to do like as well as we possibly can.
Like
competitively.
hyper competitive, you know, fully
Especially-
driven no matter what.
Especially after like Niall got his Milan top, like it makes me more motivated to want a top because I don't want it. I don't want it to only be Niall.
And I just
Yeah.
I just want my. To be fair, like 2019, I fucking showed Tristan up so hard. Like,
He really did.
I actually
like I
remember...
can't. There's nothing I can
I mean,
say.
there's something super positive about like having a rival that you can actually be friendly with. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you
I
guys
actually
are
remember-
friends?
yeah, bro.
I remember
Yeah,
playing Tristan
totally.
in London, actually. I think I beat you with bugs, unfortunately, Tristan.
Yeah, I think it was an excited event.
Yeah, it was.
I think once that happened, I was like, yeah, I'm fucking done.
I'm the bottom of the barrel. If you come this far, then just turn away.
There was actually like a story at an event where back when I lived in Wales and we went to a few events. I played against again, I was in a side event because I scrubbed out the main event, and I played against a guy playing Herald of Perfection, and he just
lost to
summoned,
Herald.
yeah, he summoned Herald of Perfection twice, and he gated all my cards, and I was like, oh, sick, yeah, okay. And I lost, and the worst thing is, like, I looked at him and I was like, oh, this guy's a bye. Like, he's got like no teeth, he's got like a paper deck mat, and like he summons Herald of Perfection in game 1, and I bricked, and I was like, okay, that's fine, yeah.
Time to invoke the Sun Tzu, you know, like never underestimate your enemy. He's gonna herald you.
And
Me
then,
and
like,
George. Oh, sorry.
another game, he summons like Herald of Perfection and Christian. I'm like, why did I lose to this guy? And I just like, and then he says something like, oh, I'm like X2, and I was like, yeah, well, I've won 2 prize cards, leave me alone. And that was, like,
It was like a year and a half ago, by the way.
It was awful.
Shit.
I remember me and George
happens.
theory crafting for regionals that we should bring like the Salamandrake structure deck paper mat with us instead of our regular mats, just to
Oh
fuck
yes, the
with
constant
people.
mind games.
Yeah.
It's true. That's
Use a
big
BA
factor.
mat when you're actually not playing BA at all.
Just making yourself look like a scrub so that
Yeah.
people underestimate you is kind of major.
So like, you dress up as a furry and you have a really lewd fur hire mat,
Oh.
and then you play like.
If you wear a dual disc.
You play Dark World FTK.
It's an ongoing theory that that's how Sam Pearson does so well at events, because he just has sheg energy.
Oh my god.
People
I mean, you
just
see
assume
that
that he
that Cyber Dragon. It's like, all right,
Oh,
free.
this is fucking easy. I feel that a lot of time when I drop an ulti terraforming, and they're like, okay, and I search common ballpark, and some people just go,
Oh god.
oh, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, but Andy, to be fair, you're literally like that guy who like mains ice climbers in like Smash Ultimate. You're like, when you see it, you're like, oh shit, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
'cause
this
they're
guy
just
has
gonna be
played
so-
this one weird deck longer than I have played anything.
Literally, they literally have like Excel sheets on like rulings for fucking ballpark.
Yeah, I keep adding to it.
You
he actually
literally
does.
do, yeah.
I know, I wasn't joking. I do have
So
that.
crazy.
Oh man.
But yeah.
So let's move from something very meta to something, how do you think like the meta has like, do you think the meta would have been different? Do you think we'd be in a different place if Corona wasn't a thing? Like, do you think all these
100%.
online events
100 million%.
change?
I would be playing the game.
Oh, okay. And that would have driven the meta completely different
No,
direction.
but like, to be honest, my whole understanding of the meta right now is like, okay.
You know the meta in our house where 4 of us are playing.
So
and it's
Pancreatic.
Yeah, I
really
literally,
close.
I'm just playing against 3 control decks. I haven't picked up Dragon Link once.
Oh, gross.
So I think the biggest thing about online meta compared to IRL meta is that online word gets
Everybody-
spread a lot quicker.
And everybody has every card.
So yeah, so everybody has every card on release. So like,
Yes.
for example, the most recent LCS, like a few people have tested Virtual World, but if you tested it, you had access to every single card and like close to the optimal deck list on release. So like, obviously that can't happen IRL. Like only like pro players would have access to that.
Yeah,
Oh, I also just want to make a point that this train of thought just reminded me of.
you're gonna sell your Dragon Links on a
I mean,
podcast.
very often Tristan has not had access to all the cards he would want to play.
That's
That's one of the
absolutely
reasons IRL where he has not done very well. Like
My-
I remember it. Was it Euros or was it? It was another one again, I think, where it was like you were playing a salad list that didn't have like all the cards you want. I can't even remember if it was salad or not.
I remember.
I don't think you had imperms.
Yeah, I remember I had like a deck list written out of like what my optimal cards would be, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see who I can borrow these cards off.
Last
And then
minute, by
I
the
would
way.
find like on like the Friday, and I'd find like 2 Phantasmes, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna play 2 and not 3 because I can't find a third one. And then I can't find any imperms. I guess I'm playing Effect Veiler instead.
Yeah.
And then like the quality of my list just slowly decreases and decreases until it's just like, oh my.
Nothing's optimized anymore because it's just about what you can scrape together.
Yeah,
See,
exactly.
my problem is Chen and Niall discovered that I'm stupid at spending money, and then now when there's a big event, they're just like, Joe, do you have this card? I'm like, yes.
So I was like, I'm never gonna invest in extravagances because there are like 3 people with extravagances that don't go to
Well, I
LCS
remember
in my
before
life.
Ghent earlier this year, Chen was trying to strong arm me into buying a playset of extravs for myself so he could borrow them at Ghent.
I mean, it's a pro play, bro.
It's true.
Smart.
You do it for the shoutouts.
Oh, that is true.
Oh yeah, I borrowed these cards from this. Oh, I like that. Yeah. But it's
But yeah, I definitely think online format progresses a lot quicker than an IRL format would.
Yeah, because
Like,
it checks itself.
Do you
Right?
think
It's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
based. It's not based on rumors. It's the stats are like sitting in front of you.
So do you think that's a positive thing? Do you think that we've actually got further in the format, like weeding out the possibly worse decks, getting better?
Surely it would just mean that formats get solved faster.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that they get solved a lot quicker, so that more people have got the optimal deck list, so that you don't have as much of an edge. Whereas like me and Gabe were talking about this for like around like Nats and Euros format, where we like discovered the best deck, and the problem is, so if we played at Nats, not a lot of people would have it. Only like our teams would have it. He would be at a different event to I would be. Like by the time he's finished, still nobody would know about his deck while I'm playing it. And then even when that's finished, even to the next YCS, people still wouldn't fully know about that deck.
No.
Mm.
But the problem with like online is that if one person plays it online, like hundreds of people see it. Whereas
Well,
if you're
it's
playtesting it at locals, nobody sees it.
Yeah, it's like the YuGiOh scope, as you're saying. Like people can watch your replays like 20
Exactly.
times. You've got literally all the information you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to like keep stuff like that like under wraps. And even after you've played it at an event, people can watch all your replays, so they know exactly how the deck works.
That's why it's like good to like live with people that play Yu-Gi-Oh to a certain caliber, because you can just test IRL and like nobody will ever know.
Yeah, it's also good about having like an inside circle. Like
Yeah.
like when Gabe and I were testing for like the LCS with FTK, it was very, very difficult to keep that secret from like all of our different groups. But
Yeah.
we knew that the only way this deck would perform well is by nobody
Not getting
knowing about
leaked. Yeah.
And I mean, it paid off.
Quick question that I want both you, like Niall and Tristan, to answer at the same time. If there was an event happening in like 2 hours with $1 million prize pool, what deck would you build?
Virtual
3,
World.
2, 1.
Oh, yeah, I'd play Virtual World probably.
Yeah, I play Virtual World too, just because Tristan knows it better than me. I'll pick up the cards, I'll read them when I play. I know I know that one of them's good, one of them's amazing. The trap's pretty good too.
I mean, every card being an extender is pretty nice.
VFD is a pretty good card, I've heard.
I've heard that's pretty good. So I think it would be unavoidable to not talk about ban lists, and I think this is a topic that's beaten into the ground a lot of times, especially around this season. Everyone classically, it's free content season, as Farfa and Sina like to point out. But how do you feel? We'll start with Niall. How do you feel about stuff? Because you're I'm gonna say you're a bit out. You're a little bit out of the loop.
Yeah, I mean, like I've not been watching tournaments or anything, but from what I gather, VFD is pretty good. But I don't know if it's like too early.
I mean, it's been around for years.
Yeah, but Virtual World have only been it's like the new thing to like abuse it.
Do you think
Dragon Link was doing it for a bit with Garden Rose Maiden, but still, it's like you can still interact with that.
Do that pretty well. But do you think they would keep VFD?
I think Dinos have definitely earned a hit. Like the amount of times when we still had locals IRL, where I would go like my opponent would summon OV, and then I would Veiler, and then they would miss, and then I would Veiler.
Name the opponent.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to give him the satisfaction.
It was
like he normals OV effect, and I go Veiler, he misses, and then I Veiler again, and he misses.
Wow.
It just sucks. It's like they have Call by the Grave built in. That's also a fucking extender.
I remember the ban list. It came because it banned Dark. I think the same ban list was Dark Matter Dragon thingy, and then Summon Sork as well was hit in that list, and then Misk came back, and I remember Misk being like one of the most talked parts of it. Summon Sork being banned was a bit sad, but
I remember when Misk got like unhit. I felt like it went very under the radar. Like I didn't care about Dino at all at that point.
100%.
I was trying on some new jeans in a changing room, and then one of my friends said the new ban list has dropped, and I pulled up my jeans and ran outside.
That was me. I said that.
Was that in that dungeon of a place that you don't get internet?
Debenhams, I think.
Yes.
It was.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Fucking dungeon.
So Tristan, how do you feel? Do you think VFD should be hit then? Do you think Virtual World will keep it alive for a bit, or?
No, I think VFD 100% deserves to be banned. It's like the most unfair like combo end board at the moment. Like regardless of Virtual World, because I think like that deck is like pretty good even without VFD, assuming that like a lot of other stuff gets hit as well, which they
Yeah,
should.
I mean, I was saying that earlier as well. I think that deck will still be fucking brilliant if it doesn't end on something like VFD.
Because like
Well,
it has a walking macrocosmos and a continuous trap that is Dryden. Like that alone is very, very good.
You also have the new generic rank 9 coming out in a couple of sets, right? Which is just a negate, I think,
Yeah, I
and a
it's
DD
generic.
crow.
Which is good enough, but is it better than a fucking macro? I don't know.
The problem is they also have like a hand loop combo.
Yeah.
Oh no.
If VFD gets banned, I think they can loop like 3 cards out of your hand.
But
Which
isn't that
is,
Is it
with
with smoke
Gotham?
grenade?
It's Gotham.
yeah, they summon like Gothams, and then you bring it back with Cloud Castle, and then you got Arms again, and then you make Enter Blasphemy and rip another card.
Oh come on, that's just Gothams though. Gothams is a boy.
And like I don't know how consistent it is or how viable it is as a strategy, but it's like they have a lot of possibilities of what they actually can do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's actually very interesting since the debut of Virtual World. I feel like I can't remember what I was watching, but it was one of those meta breakdowns, I think. And I think Dragon Link and Infernoble Knight only had 6% of the top cut of the last big tournament. It was like
Yeah, the representation that Virtual World had like on release was absolutely monstrous.
yeah, I think they had like 16% of the cut. Like it was 5 players versus like 1 Infernoble and 1 Dragon Link.
Yeah.
Vogue Dogmatica didn't even like register on the last one. Snatch.
Also, there are more iterations of like Eldritch now being represented as well. I guess do they do better against Virtual World or something?
So we had a big argument in the Nottingham YuGiOh chat this morning, which Tristan was a part of.
Oh, I was giggling all along to that. I actually got woken up by Aiden in his
same,
fury.
and I came downstairs and shouted at him. I
literally came into my room and I was passed out, and he was just like, "Niall, you've got to fucking say something to the Tristan's being retarded." I was like, "He's not being retarded." If I'm gonna trust anyone, it's probably gonna be Tristan.
Please divulge, because I'm not in the YuGiOh chat, and I don't think anyone else listening might not be.
Basically, so Quinn was complaining about like how good Eldritch is and how he like automatically scoops to it every time, and then I made the argument of or maybe like I think Eldritch isn't that good, but it does gatekeep a lot of like good control decks out of the format.
And then Aiden like misrepresented that as like Eldritch being unfair, but it's actually just like, why would you ever play Subterra when Eldritch is a deck?
Aiden had the opposite approach, is that he thought that Eldritch was super easy to beat, and that other control decks had a good matchup with it.
Well, that's just his character profile. Well, if you point at his deck is, oh no, it's easy, it's fine, it's not busted, it's not annoying. He has the exact same opinion about floodgates.
I mean, I've been whacking him with fucking Tri-Brigade Zoo. So
like I agree that Eldritch isn't like super broken, but that's because I generally play combo decks, so that like the power level between like Eldritch and like Virtual World, for example, is like very, very different. Whereas like if you play something fair, like if you're playing like Pure Zoo, or if you're playing like Guru or Altergeist or Sky Striker, it is very, very difficult to beat Eldritch because they have like what feels like an infinite grind game.
Yeah,
so, like Eldritch isn't like a super broken deck, but in the context of like control decks, it's so far and away above the other control decks that it does feel like it's unbeatable sometimes.
It reminds me of the sort of earlier this year when was it Pro Play? Yeah, I think it was Pro Play when they made their own sort of ban list, and they put Sanguine to 1.
Yeah.
Do you think Eldritch will miss the ban list entirely?
That was during like Synchro Eldritch though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It would really suck for people who've bought Eldritch to one, it get reprinted in gold so that the value tanks,
and then it gets hit.
For it to then get hit as well without playing like any.
I definitely don't think it dedeserves the hit.
I think like it could get like maybe like some sort of consistency hit, but like nothing like too major. Maybe like 2 Conk, 2 Sanguine, or like 2 Eldland. Like something. Really,
I mean, to be honest, most of the time, fucking the one that isn't Conk is actually pretty bad, right?
Yeah, like Hakuero can like it depends on the format a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But like Sanguine and Conk are like the key like 3 ofs, and obviously Eldland, and sometimes the Eldritch guy can be 2 or 3. But like Eldland, Sanguine, and Conk are like mandatory 3 ofs every time you play the deck. So like any hit to them reduces the grind a little bit and the consistency of opening those cards.
Yeah.
To be honest, the spell card that searches is very annoying. Like
Eldland is very good, yeah.
If a ban list dropped right now and just bought Synchro Eldritch back to full power, do you think it would see like significantly more representation in big tournaments, or do you think it's outclassed by Virtual World and stuff like that?
So Jet Synchron's actually pretty good, right? So
I think the problem if you bring back like the synchro elements of synchro elves, is probably just a better deck to play them in.
yeah, like what I've also noticed is because Dragon Link is seeing less representation, Needle Fiber and Link Cross are seeing less representation too,
Yeah, so like Virtual World doesn't even summon a Link monster.
which is very scary if those cards get hit, right?
Yeah, like if like the only like combo hits are like Smoke Grenade, Link Cross, LP.
We're going into a
and
tier 0 format almost.
Even VFD, like if VFD gets hit, I think Virtual becomes like a very, very good deck. Because I don't think there are many other combo decks that can compete with it at that point.
Mm.
So we've touched on VFD and we've touched on dinos and stuff. What about you said now that
I think Virtual World are like they're too young to have any sort of major hit except for
Dragon
VFD.
Link will get hit at all then? Do you think maybe a Buster Lock or the LP or the Chaos Levinier or anything like that? Hello?
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, the bus lock's gone.
Yeah. I mean, because obviously, as you're saying, the Dragon Link is slowly dying or getting less.
To be honest, I could actually see like they do something with Union Carrier because like I feel like Buster Blader could stay around as a deck, but do they use Union Carrier as well? I have no idea.
Oh, Buster Blader don't even use the Buster Lock.
Yeah, they
wait, do they not?
No, they make the fusion monster.
Oh god.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff that I just rather not know about.
That whole package is I can't remember. I think the guy, I remember seeing a YuGiOh video about it. The guy sort of had a pile deck almost, and it would just sort of utilize Buster, what they call
Dragon.
Yeah, Buster Dragon made that sort of lock, but also had like 4 other engines. It was just a pile of like Dragoon.
Was it the Triaxis one where you just keep making like Cherubini, then Link Cross, then Needle Fiber?
I think it probably played like Eldritch and Rockets.
I remember it played the Numerons, the Dragoons, an Invoked engine, and a Dogmatica engine. It was so stacked with everything. Purely because you hit one of these engines and maybe it's something else, and it just like you can just stop your opponent doing anything.
Like any combination of like 2 engines is pretty playable.
Because I mean, recent tournaments. I think it was it an LCS that the top was a invoked Eldritch Zoo or something.
I think Dogma Eldritch Zoo.
Dogma Eldritch Zoo. There, that's the one. Which is a little bit insane because it's just like 3 control decks just shoved together.
Yeah. It's a really weird combination because like some of the Dogma cards clash with some of the Zoo cards. Like if you activate Punishment, then you don't get to summon any more Zoo cards. You don't get to make Zeus. But like if you draw like Eldland, like Barrage and Nadir, it becomes like very, very scary.
But it makes sense.
And the deck still has room for like a lot of hand traps.
Yeah, because you got your one normal summon in the form of any Zoo, or potentially Ecclesia if you need to, and then obviously you got all this. You got the just setting anything or popping anything with your. Because that was really nice. I remember I think it was a Top Cut video watching. They make Trident summon Ecclesia. Ecclesia adds the trap or a flare or whatever. Then Trident pops one of the Eldritch spells and then end phase, they set the Sanguine and stuff like that. That's insane. Like that's 3 engines accessed with like a normal summon and 3 other cards in hand, which is mental.
Yeah, it has some weird synergies. It's just like all 3 of the best like control elements of the format just in one deck.
What do you think about the people on Zoo saying the invoked stuff should get hit? I think the deck's too fair.
I don't think like the invoked. I don't think invoked is like broken. No. But I'm sick of seeing it. Like every single format, Alistair is in the format, and I'm really sick of it.
Yeah,
it's not like super broken. It's just very, very boring.
It just enables more like it just enables Dogma, right?
Well, every
they would 100%
their normal summon.
They would 100% like play into fucking Nibiru if they didn't have the Macabre. But I also think that maybe Winder might deserve a ban.
As much as I hate it, I mean,
absolutely Winder.
Unfair card.
Yeah, so actually,
more so probably because of the in-house fucking little meta we have going on.
Just like fucking Schism is such a silly card. It's such a silly card. I didn't actually add that to my low-key ban list that I made.
But I don't
Don't
think
put it
Schism
on.
deserves it. I think it's just
No,
window.
that's too new. That's not broken. That can be used as a combo piece for Shadow, and I think that's
Shadow,
really
yeah.
good.
By all
But, like, I
means,
think-
use a construct, right?
Yeah.
I think Schism into Window is like only really good because you also have Mechaba. Because like that combo like instantly loses to a Cosmic Cycle.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's
But,
like
As that
because it
has in
also,
their in-house tournament.
yeah, because it also has a negate next to it, and like I mean floodgates in general are just
No,
very unfair and gross.
one card I've been having a lot of success with is Book of Moon.
Yeah. I heard you
That
discuss
that
it.
card is actually Pog, right? Like I think one time, yeah, Joe made a Macabre, and then I booked it so he couldn't summon any dogs.
Good. Yes, I like that.
Felt bad.
Yeah, it felt good.
And if you're wanting to buy an Ulti Book of Moon, hit Niall McNulty
No.
up on Facebook.
No, check tier0games.com and use code
#5
#5 at checkout.
Yeah. I was going to actually ask about your sort of team stuff because obviously, you've been. How long have you been with Tier 0 now?
A while, I think it was. I think they picked me up after Nats.
Okay.
Was it after Euros actually?
And Tristan has only recently joined Disciples because when I was quickly looking up what your tops were, all I had to do was on Disciples page Google Tristan and fucking 10 things immediately pop up. They're really I mean I like Betty who runs. I think he runs most of it.
Yeah, he's team manager.
Yeah, and it's like he's really supportive and he's like he's a really cool guy. So it's
I,
Yeah,
don't know,
he's
I
a
feel
good
like it's
team manager.
awesome that Tristan's found like a family because I feel like the last
Yeah.
team's dynamic was less about having like a community and stuff and more about names.
So why did you change? Just
So-
for the record.
Like for a while I was on FCG and there wasn't like any major issues or not any issues with FCG at all really, other than it was just like a YuGiOh team and it was like so there was an FCG group chat on Facebook and like we would very rarely talk about in there unless we were talking about like an upcoming tournament or like if you're testing for a deck sometimes you like message to like play games or whatever. But when I I mingled with Disciples at one of the YCSs, I think it might have been Utrecht or something. I think it would have been at Euros, and I just got on so well with all of them. Like we went out for food, like we would just chat and like have a laugh at the table, and then it definitely felt more like they had more of a team dynamic, whereas they're not just a YuGiOh team; they're just like a unit even outside of the game. And like that has really showed like ever since I like joined their group chat, like their group chat is flowing like every day. Someone is talking about something. There's always like different conversations going.
New Cyber Dragon theory.
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody's always having a laugh, and it's really it's a completely different dynamic to just being on a team like that.
Yeah, I mean, we like to say we've got a team, haven't we, Joe? With
Yeah,
our
we
hands.
have a team.
I mean, it's nice when you have like a small net community, like you were saying previously that when you go to events, having all that community is like what makes you like.
Oh, it's
to
like
do
a
stuff.
major part. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
100%,
So if you have
yeah.
friends that want to join in and chat about something, and even if they are arguing about how Eldritch is the most fair deck in the world, it's still fun to discuss that and debate that, and have like good chats with people.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is in real life events coming back is being like in Burgundy, going to events with them.
In Burgundy, can I ask about the sperm logo?
Oh, okay. So I don't know how it started.
Plead the fifth. Plead the fifth.
I don't know how it started, but recently there was like a bit of a rebranding going on with the Disciples. Like they were looking at like revamping the logo.
Oh, it's a
which
D
is,
now, isn't it? It's just a D. That's what's on all the YouTube videos. It's just a D, right?
No, it's like a D, and then it like spreads out to the full logo.
to the sperm. Yeah.
But so there was a long discussion about like, do we keep the sperm or do we get rid of it? And because I'd only just joined the team, I was a big advocate for getting rid of the sperm.
So you acknowledge it looks like a sperm.
Yeah, everybody knows it looks like a sperm. Like at first,
Everyone will know.
I'm sure the intention wasn't for it to look like a sperm, but it's undeniable. As soon as you point it out, it is a sperm.
I mean, even if you think about the name of the team, right? The Disciples.
Sorry,
No,
what?
if you break it down, it does look like you can tell what it is. It's a YuGiOh card because it's got the big circle, and it's got the rectangle, and then it's swooshing
Exactly,
across the board. It makes sense.
I've literally only ever seen it as a sperm.
It's like the owner of the Disciples is like making new players.
But like,
on all their t-shirts.
so
Don't
my
shake hands with them.
my argument to get rid of the sperm was if we're like rebranding to be like a really serious competitive team, if we get like sponsors and people recognize us as the sperm team, it's probably not a good look for it.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
it depends what you get
they-
sponsored by. A fertility clinic would be
Sperm
fantastic.
bank, yeah.
Durex.
And so
Yeah.
but they were like so engulfed in like it's part of our identity now. We have just become the team that has a sperm on their logo, and I was like, yeah, but we can get rid of that now. We can move on. We can be a new team with no sperm. And they were like, nah, I think we should keep the sperm.
I
So,
think it could very
despite all the
easily be changed.
rebranding, the sperm is still there.
I think you could keep pretty much the same logo if you added slightly more detail to perhaps the back of the card so it looked more wiggly like a Yu-Gi-Oh card, or maybe the tail of the sperm was slightly not as jointed to the circle.
I don't know if you want to make the sperm more wiggly, dude.
No, I definitely think there's a
Okay, like-
uterus missing. I think if you add like just a big,
Or a mouth.
just a circle.
Hang on, I might
Even
try and edit that on the
Even if it was just
thumbnail.
like if it was just like a straight line, it might not look like so much like a sperm.
Okay,
they-
that's a good thumbnail now. I'm gonna do the sperm flying into Tier Zero's bum.
Can you put Pepe's face on it?
The worst thing is, right? We've designed a mug, and now the mug has got sperm on it. And we designed a face mask, and it's a face mask
Oh,
with a
no.
sperm going straight into your mouth. Like it's just like you just gotta roll with it now.
Tristan, where
It's
can
sperm.
where can the listeners purchase this merch?
Give me a second. There's a
Great
disciple
team
shop
member,
somewhere.
by
it-
the way.
Is it just Brotherhood? Should it be brotherhood.com or
No,
something?
no. There's oh shit. I'm gonna message Betty.
Alright.
We'll supply a link in the description.
Okay, cool. I did have a sort of a final question because we're sort of getting to close to 45 minutes. As a, let's say, not as a bit scrubbier player, and I don't buy all the sort of high, end, Zeus's or triple talents or whatever.
Sorry, what rank 4 are you running in your deck at the moment?
I don't know.
Bahamut Shark?
No. So
He's
what?
running a fucking Starlight
No.
trap trick to Lone Rose.
What I'm asking is, do high end players tend to max rarity? Because I think as a scrubber player that I'm not buying all these sort of potentially higher end things, I end up buying higher rarities. Stuff,
I
if you know what
definitely think that there's a priority to just have all the cards you want to play rather than worrying about the rarity.
I mean? Have you ever max rarity to deck yourself, taking it to a major event?
I've never. I mean,
No.
I barely own the cards myself.
Yeah, it literally usually it was scraping shit together, right?
I
Um,
like to mismatch rarities. That tends to annoy people.
I think
let
you've
go
learned
of
that
me
since
off
you were at
the
the
face of the
Disciples, though,
planet.
Joe.
It's definitely a Leon thing, but
Yeah, like you learned it from Leon. I remember being at Brotherhood Locals like back in the day when I lived in London, and it was literally like Leon running.
Well, actually,
three
doesn't
different-
really
three
have
different-
like max rarity invoked, but he's been playing that day.
Yeah, but he likes to play like one super, one secret, one ulti or whatever.
Does he?
Just
Yeah.
want to say I'm verging on the max rarity invoked at the moment. No biggie.
That's
no
the
biggie.
reason why I wanted to get Invocation hit.
That would
Some
be-
He's
Glueater
just
on
invested.
Zodiac. No, some Glueater on Reddit on his theorized ban list said that invocation should go to 0 because you can still use polymerization with Alistair.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
I-
It's not right.
I hate. You know what? I agree with him. I hate invocation. I think it's
Suck
so
my
annoying.
dick.
It's like, oh, I'm gonna make mecha, but and I'm like, hang on, you got nothing. Hang on, I'm gonna fusion summon. Like, oh, but you haven't got an Alistair engrave. No, I'm just making Winder. Fuck you. Fuck your face. That's the worst. I hate it.
I think it's great.
Oh, it just makes me so angry. There's just a normal fusion spell as well as a busted sort of resource management. Oh,
Or
right. Now I'm angry. So let's wrap this up. Thank you so much,
Hey,
guys.
Invoked got clapped on the Duel Links ban list.
Joe, shut up. We're wrapping it up.
He's wrapping it up. Shut up. Thank you
He's
so
not wrong,
much,
you know.
guys, for
Kikaitis to 0. Kappa.
Shut the fuck.
Hero Scout as well, bro.
Oh, Tristan, do you still play what's it called, Duel Links?
I'm testing Noble Knights at the moment. It's kind of funny.
They got
but
the new structure deck coming out, right?
I previously owned Shiranui and Karakuri, so I'm really mad.
Oh, unlucky.
Thank
I
you,
just had
guys.
Invoked Magician Girls built, and
Okay, bye, guys.
I've just
Thanks
hoarded
for watching.
gems, and now I'm waiting for BA to come out.
Thank you,
Can
Tristan
you just
and Niall, and
tri-
joining. Joe, you're here. Thank you.
Andy, can you just like Andy, you know, in the editing, can you just have them talking about their shitty Duel Links meta and let it fade out onto the two slices of ham or whatever?
I'll say thank you guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Ciao.
Thank you, Niall.
See you later.
Tristan. Let's just listen to the little birds tweet about Duel Links.
Oh, are we allowed to talk about it again?
I was so excited. I thought Karakuri was gonna get like hit, and then I'd play a bit of Shiranui afterwards. But they're both gone. Everything. It's all gone. It's all.
I mean, Karakuri didn't get any big event tops because it was so expensive to do. So I didn't think they were gonna get hit.
It's literally iconic, alright? I can't get away from it.
I know, that's why when I mentioned like I was doing a podcast with Tristan and Niall.
Can I tell the real story now?
Yeah.
Why this happened, right? Okay, so basically, fucking and his girlfriend were shagging in the only room that had a kitchen, so I couldn't fucking cook. I literally knocked on the door, and he had like he pulled his trousers on. And it was that's all he was wearing. It was like, oh, for fuck's sake, dude, I've got to, like, I actually have games to play tomorrow because you fucking scrubbed out. So peak.
Why didn't you want to tell that one the actual?
I didn't want to drop him in on it.
Okay.
I didn't want to talk about Jamie banging in the room behind me throughout this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, I've started recording again, so I'll bleep his name out.
Wait, did you actually start recording again?
See you later, guys.
You fucking piece of shit, dude.
Bye bye.